am here with the man, the myth, the legend, our new series, Untamed RUANE. Josh, what is going on, dude?
Not a whole lot, man. Just coming in from you at the island here down in Florida now. Made a move from Pennsylvania down to the southern tip of the United States. But how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent, man. I know I've been following your travels and shit, man. They've been absolutely awesome. And I mean, on top of that, last time we talked, you were thinking about this move. You were contemplating it. You knew you wanted to do it, though, and you were like, shit, this is the time to buy a boat.
Mm.
And then it kind of did not pan out well. But we'll jump into that later, correct?
Yeah, of course. Well, but I wouldn't say it didn't pan out well. It's just more along the lines of how you think about it or like how you look at it. But I would say that I'm kind of in a really good spot. But yeah, let's get into that later.
So, Josh, how have you been? I mean, aside from that, what's the weather like down in Florida, man? It's got to be. Where exactly are you?
So I'm on the western side, the West Coast, the Gulf Coast is what they call it down here in Florida. I'm probably about like an hour away from Fort Myers, which is down the coast, Sarasota and Tampa Bay, which is probably like 3 hours away from us. Um, and the weather, it's during hurricane season, man. So there's a lot of rain. Like literally, you can like time your watch down to it, like when it's gonna rain at 3 o'clock.
No way.
Yeah, man. But at the same time, like I really enjoy going outside and just sitting on the porch and just listening to the rain and dude, the thunderstorms. It's nothing like there in PA because all the hills are in the way of seeing the horizon and everything, and down here it's just all flat. So like there's a lot of sky space that you can like watch over, and it's really cool because like you can see like the lightning bolts go through the clouds and everything, and I don't really see that a whole lot of that there in PA. But anyway, I'm rambling.
No, you're not at all. That has to be absolutely amazing, man. I remember when I was younger, whenever we would go to Florida, you could tell. I mean, when it was going to rain, it would be like a quick heat rain almost. It felt like it was just trying to cool off the earth.
You can feel that pressure coming in and everything, dude. It's very special here, man. I'm very happy to be in this area.
So, I want to kind of dive in literally. I mean, you got the ocean down there, beautiful. Um, how did that all kind of begin? I mean, how did you get down there?
Well, so me and a friend like raised up some money for I want to say like 5 months, not even 5 months. Like I got a job at a thrift store there in Pittsburgh, which is the red, white, and blue thrift store.
Nice.
And I don't want to get into like too many details, but we had to leave there in May,
Okay.
and all we had there was like $2,800 before our last paychecks that we got, so we had to wait a week before we got our next paycheck to leave. But we were able to raise like another $1,000 before we went, or before we came and got, or before we got our next paychecks. And dude, we pretty much sold everything, and we had his brother's car, Scott's car, excuse me, and Scott's brother's car, and he lent that to us to drive down there because like we didn't want to bring a car that owned or that belonged to us because like a big problem is when you're moving to like get a boat, you never would just want to have a car to like sell off. You want someone to come and pick it up
Yeah.
later on, and that's exactly what happened. So dude, it took us like 2 days to get down from Florida, from Pennsylvania. And dude, let's just say that like, dude, we were in Florida for like less than a week, and we were able to get a boat. Um,
So you bought a boat literally in less than a week?
like less than a week. Like we found the perfect boat. Like
Did you
it
name it?
was it was actually already named. It was called the Unplugged.
The Unplugged. Wow, that's pretty badass.
It was perfect. It was like very great. It still is a very great name. It's still being out there sailing around right now, but I'm not really too sure. And but anyway, so the story behind that was we were up in Jacksonville, and like we're just searching for boats and stuff. Like we had the money, and like the more time that we thought that the more time that we were like looking for a boat, the more time that we would lose our resources and our money to be able to buy said boat. So like we wanted to hurry up and catch up on an offer real quick. Well, my buddy was in the library for at least like 3 hours up there in Jacksonville, and he found one like right on the money. And the funny thing was too, like I looked at it, and but at the same time, like I didn't want to make any hints because like I don't know what he wants, because when it comes to like getting on a boat and doing this, like it's not just your how would I put this, your take on it. Like you have to like go back and forth and make sure that your partner wants to work with this as well.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, he saw it and he just picked up on it. It was like, dude, that's the boat right then and there. And at this point, I was just like, you know what? Let's go do it. So we give them a call. Uh, they're they're down in locate. They were located in St. Pete Beach, which is not too far from Tampa. Um, so we drive all night to get down, like about like 3 hours away from there, and then the next morning we get there, and it's so the story behind this boat was it was donated to this nonprofit organization called AMI Kids. Um, it's a school where like these troubled children would go, and they would teach them sailing. I don't know. It was just like I
That's
can't
pretty
really.
radical, actually. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, it was like a school from like I want to say from like first grade to 12th grade, because like these were troubled kids, like kids that like that weren't able to like find like a way, like with their parents and like in public schools. But they also, it wasn't just like a public school, but like they taught them how to sail, they taught them how to dive, like just there's more to it, but right, it's just it was so long ago, I can't really exactly tell you everything that they did, but like I just know that it was for a troubled children, you know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
But anyway, so the boat was located at their old building that they wanted to sell, and they were moving to another building, and they couldn't keep the boat there. They just couldn't keep the boat because the building was being relocated. So they got rid of this, or they wanted to. They tried selling this boat multiple times, for like without or through in like 3 months, but no one was hitting on it. So they dropped the price significantly. And it was a 1972 27-foot Morgan. And on, I do believe it was valued close to like at least $6,000 boat, but we got it for like 2,900. It
Wow.
had, yeah, dude, it had everything that we needed to set sail. Like it was perfect. All we had to buy was two new batteries just to put everything on. I mean, there was a couple other things that may need a little bit of work, but other than that, dude, she was a beautiful boat. But yeah,
So you buy this boat, and now at this point, were you like, was this boat now becoming like a houseboat, or like was this just like a free roaming? I'm gonna sail around, explore some spots, or was this now the go to? Like, was this like the next chapter?
no, this is what like. Okay, so I've been traveling around for 6 years and stuff, and this like, I kind of got bored of hitchhiking around and seeing the country. So this was like my level up, like my next step, my next chapter. So yeah, I thought this was going to become my home, and I was going to do this with like my good friend,
And what
like
happened?
well, let's just say that you can't have two captains, man, on one boat. Like, especially a boat that's only a 27 footer. You know, I put a lot of time and effort into this boat. You know, I'm not gonna say how much money I put into it. I don't want to be tacky like that and shit, but um, so dude, everything was great. So get this, before we even came down to Florida, like I hit up some friends who I knew who were living the lifestyle of, live aboard sailboating.
Yeah, man, that's totally kick ass. That's kind of like Captain Ron.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard so many fucking stories, or not so many. I've heard people have referred to me to that movie, and I've
Yeah,
yet.
you're very much like him. He's in. I'm trying to remember who the actor is in that movie. Um, it's totally old school, and he's a kick-ass actor. I'm gonna tell you here in a minute. It is, dude, Kurt Russell. Such a cool guy,
Okay, so
and you're a
you
cool
know,
guy.
you're probably like the fifth person who has told me about Captain Ron, and I feel like I need to actually go out and look up who Captain Ron is. I mean, right? I should probably get on there and watch that tonight. But anyway, you know what? It was a very exciting chapter of our lives. Like we were moving forward as like human beings and as men, because like, dude, when you get on a sailboat and your home is just mobile, and like the way that you get around is by using the wind. I don't know. It's there's just something that's,
Magical. I mean, about it. I mean,
dude, yeah, like basically, like I really don't. I'm really having a hard time to like put it into words, but it's just I
I've
just
noticed
feel.
that, by the way, Josh. Not to cut you off, but I love that. I've also at certain times with certain feelings, man. They're tough to kind of put into a description. You know what I mean? It's very weird.
Hmm. Like it's something that you have to go out and experience for yourself to be able to like portray, and it's uh, when I got out into the water for the first time, like we went out into the ocean, and like we were able to sail down like, at least 100 miles before I got off this boat. But dude, we weren't going that fast, but it didn't matter, like we were. I don't know. I just felt free. Like again, like I'm going back to like I can't really describe it and put it into words, but it's once you get a taste of it, like you become addicted to it.
It's like
And that's the greatest high right there. Is just because like it's so stimulating. It's I don't know, like it's a calling for me right now. Like even though I feel like we're the place where I'm at. I have to wait for a couple years before I can get back into it. But it's it's I don't know.
it's
But
wild.
anyway, say
No, I
what?
hear you, man. It's absolutely wild. But so there's no two captains. What happened? Is this something where was it like, hey, man, I'm gonna take the boat, continue sailing, or was it just kind of like I'm gonna be the lead guy, or I'm gonna be the lead guy, and then it kind of just
You know what?
split?
It's not completely on him, but at this like I had my problems, dude. To be honest, okay. So what happened was I spent a good bit of fucking money on this boat, and I didn't want the responsibility when it came down to like legal issues and everything. So like I decided to put it in his name, and that was like my biggest mistake because ever since that happened, like I felt like there was control issues, and like the one thing that I asked this person to did not do at all is like, dude, you can call yourself captain of this boat all you want. Like I'm totally okay with that, but just don't disrespect me in front of other people, and don't tell me that like I'm your first mate. This kind of deal. I don't know, like this isn't just your boat. Like you and me have both worked for this. Like
Yeah,
I've very hard to make sure that our dreams are gonna come true. You know, like but and like there was a like one thing that he tried to like make it a trade off was that like how I lived at his house like during the time being to save up for this boat. And I don't know, man. Like at the same time, like I really don't want to talk about this because like I really don't want to like I don't know, man. Like I don't want to like put this out there and like make him seem like the bad guy because like this is kind of like my business and shit.
sure, of course. But I mean, ultimately, you were loving the sea. You know, you fell in love with the ocean and everything, and it probably puts you in a rough spot. And I mean, honestly, I've been there many times too.
It
Don't get
did.
me wrong.
It did. It's just more along the lines of like, man, okay, so we sailed down, we had a good time, but like during that time, like I was just getting the feel that like he was just kind of like, like I don't know, he was like how would I put this, like acting like, he was pushing me out on purpose by acting a certain way, but like dude, like I just felt like there was just a lot of control issues and everything and like whatever word that he said that was the way it was supposed to go because like anytime when he said something like no I'm not doing this like there was no room for negotiation and so like I felt like I had to like just fall back and just let him do his thing and then I just started to feel like this isn't my boat. Like he's really making it apparent that like he doesn't he either doesn't want me on here or it's gonna be like his way or the highway. And you know what? We sailed down to this town called Englewood, and like even already then it was like 3 weeks after we got the boat that like tensions were high because like when you're spending time on a small boat like a 27 footer like there's not a lot of room for you to separate like yourselves from each other.
I'm sure, man. It's kind of not like where it's like, okay, fuck it. Like I'll go sit at the stern and I'll go sit at the bow. You know what I mean?
And you know what, like he started to do questionable things like like we were in this one spot and we came up to this dock and we docked there for 2 days and there was this other like hippie boater punk that came up and stuff in his dinghy and whatnot. And he docked us right next to us and everything. And I got to talk to him for a little bit and he was really cool and stuff. And, he left. And then, okay, so we didn't have like any way to. Okay, so when you have a sailboat, you have to have a dinghy. You have to have a dinghy because like you want to be able to moor out away from the shore and then row in with the smaller boat, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so now we had a dinghy, but we didn't have an efficient way to come in on the dinghy, so we didn't have oars, right?
sure.
Now, so like we had paddles, but oars are like very efficient. So this kid, the person who I bought the boat with, he decided that he wanted to steal the oars from this other kid's dinghy that came in that I had a connection with when he came in. And like, I don't know, man, like it really made me question like on the person who I was, supposedly calling captain.
So, and I mean,
Right.
this guy wouldn't have had, and this new dude wouldn't. I mean, you sailed off and entered your life. He wouldn't have had any way of getting back out at this point. I mean, he would have had no oars, right?
No, no.
He would have been
And
screwed.
and dude, like seriously, like I'm trying to like tell like Scott, I'm trying to tell this person like, yo, man, like why are you doing this? Like I knew this person, like I talked to him. He's like, he seems like a really cool dude, and he's like, I don't care. Like he parked his boat next to my boat, and like it started to scratch up my paint, and I'm just like, dude, that's a very you're rationalizing and you're trying to justify why you're stealing off of this other person,
Yeah.
and like. dude, like that was literally the catalyst to it all. Like I really started to question like why I was invested in with this person and traveling with this person, because like he would really, it was almost kind of hypocritical. And I'm not a fucking saint myself. I go back and forth sometimes every now and then, but like, dude, you don't steal off of other people. Like I don't know, it just really, it just really bugged me, you
Yeah,
know.
man, I'm sure it did. You're a nice guy. You're a great guy, and I mean, here, this guy's
I'm
about
not
to
a,
be missing some oars.
I'm not perfect, but well, okay. So what happened was, like we sailed down to the next town. It's called Englewood, which
Okay.
is about 60, like about hold on, about like 30 miles up the coast from where I'm at now. Um, but anyway, we get to that town and we're like, tensions are already riding high. We go out into town and there's a drum circle in the area. We go out and we have a good time and everything, and we get invited to go back to this one lot, and we have decided to have a couple drinks and everything. And we're getting along and everything, me and my buddy. And dude, all of a sudden I just hear like him talking about his boat, and he's like, I can't really recollect a whole lot during that night because I was pretty drunk. But at the same time,
He
we
wasn't
got
calling the boat ours. He was calling it his. I feel you, man.
exactly, exactly, dude. You hit the nail right on the fucking head. Um, he just said his boat, and I looked at him and was like, "Your boat," and he said, "Yes, my boat." And dude, I blacked out after that. Like, I just got so upset because like he looked at me in my eyes and just said, "Yes, that was just his boat and not mine," and I just felt threatened and just taken advantage of. And all I can remember was he was on top of me, but I had him in a headlock. And
Shit. So this got aggressive.
yeah, 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 it did. And
Damn.
well, the thing was, like, we were in a big group, and, you know, I'm not trying to justify myself, but everyone was saying that he instigated that whole thing. Like, because, this was something that me and him worked for. And for him to go off and say that, like, that's just his, dude, it hurt. Like I would never do that to one of my friends who'd say, that I would work for towards a goal together with. Like, and I just felt like he completely betrayed me.
So did you leave the boat?
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Shit.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, what else can I fucking do? Because, like, legally, first of all, legally, it was his boat. Because, like, in paper, that's like, I really couldn't do anything. So, like, even though in, like, my drunken state, like, I already accepted it.
Yeah.
So, after that, literally after we got pulled off, what? As weird as it may sound, it all felt worth it because he was the first person that I kicked in the face and made connection. And it felt so good because that motherfucker deserved it.
Holy shit, man.
Now I'm not, what I mean kicked in the face is like he's not on the ground. We were both standing upright. And I just got sweet kick over the head. I know I connected. Sorry, that's just some stupid shit that I just wanted to say up. But anyway,
That's fine. Yeah.
Anyway, after that altercation, like I rode out there to the boat and grabbed all my stuff, and by the time I got back, there were some other kids there who actually ended up having a boat as well, and they said, "Look, man, you're more than welcome to hop on and be my first mate and this and that." And
Oh shit! The first mate
yeah,
comes back again.
yeah, it was, I was totally about it. It was a great thought. And hold on, his name was I can't. Fuck, dude. All right, so I'm just gonna say like Tyson. Tyson was his name.
Yeah.
Tyson was a good dude. So after I left the boat, left my boat. I'm not gonna call that Scott's boat. That is my boat because
Yes.
I worked a lot harder than that mother. Nah, never mind. I, anyway, so literally as soon as that after that fight happened, Tyson was just like, "Look, man, you're more than welcome to hop on my boat. Like, we're gonna go sail all over and this and that." And I'm like, "All right, I'm totally down for it and everything." And I hang out with this group. I'm not gonna get into too much detail right now because all I gotta say is like, I don't. I'd love to tell the truth, but then again, like I don't. I don't want to put too much out there to piss off too many people, but let's just say that these kids that I hung out with for a certain amount of time
Yeah.
were really like in the same, how would I put this, like in the same I'm sorry, man. Like we let's just say that I was a little bit farther along in life than they were. Like,
Yeah.
um, okay, let's just say that like okay, so when I first met them, I thought like these kids were like, oh yeah, they're like hardworking, hardworking. They're able to bring food home and stuff with the money that they earned at these jobs that I don't really know about yet because I just met them. Well, turns out like they were just going around robbing like the local grocery stores and shit.
Oh
Like
fuck.
they were like actual pirates in a sense. And like there was just like this sense of entitlement there, like that I didn't really vibe along with. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, food's a total right and everything. We shouldn't have to pay for food and this and that." And it was like, I'll totally eat the food that you steal, but I totally don't agree with how you're acquiring this food.
Dude, I have a vision of you saying, if you like found out about that, I feel like I could see you saying, seriously, dude, like really, really, this is what you're doing. This doesn't make me feel good. Yeah, but give me that
Like,
Kit Kat.
at the same time, like I kind of felt like a douche because like I'm eating the food that they stole, and I'm kind of just like,
I'm
all right,
hungry.
well, whatever it takes to keep me fed. Well, I'm with you guys, but
And even at that time, like for a hot minute, like you didn't know that they were like robbing for food and shit, right? I mean,
I didn't, but then like halfway through is when I found out, and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm not gonna do what you guys are doing. Like, I don't condone it, but I'm still gonna eat the food, and I'll contribute whatever money I have to like buy you guys cigarettes and shit, and keep you guys high on like the dabs and shit and the pots that I have. Because like that was the kind of trade-off that was there. Like I was just the guy that got them high and shit, and so like they would feed me.
oh my
So
god.
yeah,
So you join this new, I guess per se, crew, and I mean not with what they're doing,
it was
but
not a fucking
but
crew. It
you
was a shit show and a half.
yeah. So where was the next stop? I mean, where were these guys going? Were they just on this boat living? I mean, how many were there? Like a
Well, okay, so there was one guy, and then there was two other girls. One was his girlfriend, and one was a friend of his girlfriend. And I thought like like these people had it together, but the time that I got to spend with them, or like his girlfriend was like I felt like she was very had like this kind of she definitely had like a single child syndrome,
Yeah.
like like kind of like where attention always had to be on her in a sense, or I don't know, like I remember her like treating her mother like shit.
Oh, that's not
Because,
cool.
no, like I don't know, like I really wish I can go into a little bit more detail, but like I got to stay there at her mom's house, and she was very nice and everything, but I can tell that she was overwhelmed by like the way that her daughter would act, especially with like all the stealing and stuff, because like they would go out in her mother's car and steal all this and rob from the Publix and shit. Like like there's this time like we went to this one Publix like two towns over, and the dude went in there to go take this food, and he ended up like getting followed outside, and like all the employees came out and whatnot, and they got like our license plate and shit.
You had to be on the
And
next boat, man.
what?
I said at that point you had to be on the next boat. You had to get the fuck out of
I
there.
should have been on the next boat, but like I was just rolling around with these kids waiting to get the fuck out of here, or just getting out of Englewood. And so like my destination was to get down here on Pine Island, and that's where I'm at now. I'm in Pine Island, Bokeelia, whatever you want to say. But
Now let me ask you this real quick. I wanted to ask you something. So when they're like doing this, were you at all ever fearful that like oh shit, I mean if they pick up on this license plate and like we get followed by a cop or something, we're going to be up, Shit's Creek without a paddle, man. Like did you at all ever worry about that type of stuff?
I mean, to be honest, the way I was gonna go about it was like, like what else can I really do? Like, am I gonna go in there and just like rat these people out like while they're stealing shit? Like, I was never really worried about getting arrested and going to jail or anything like that. Because thing is, I'm not stealing shit.
True.
They are.
Very true. Yeah, exactly.
Like, because everything that I went into the store for, or did anything, I fucking paid for.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, no, I really wasn't.
So,
Like,
I mean even traveling around, were you kind of still at this point even though thinking about were you ever at all find yourself at night or whatever thinking about your boat?
yeah, dude. Like, I literally just, like I went through, a 6 month period to get this boat, and all of a sudden it was just ripped from my hands.
Yeah.
And like, so like I'm kind of going through a period where like, shit, I have nothing right now. I mean, I've done that before, but it's just like, shit, I'm back in this period. I'm back in this kind of like mindset after working very hard, and, you know,
Now, is there opportunity to look for a smaller boat?
right now, I'm in more of an opportunity to get a better boat than what that kid has.
Yeah.
Because, so let's just say, like, long story short, we can get into the story later on and what happened, but where I'm at now, uh, I have my own place. I'm renting a room,
That's cool.
yeah, for like 700 a month. Um, I'm at a job
Where are you working at
working.
now?
I'm working at a metal shop warehouse making boat lifts. I'm making like 13 an hour. Sorry, it's just kind of an idea of what I'm doing. I went from literally having nothing and going to having a job and a place and a steady income and learning skills. You know,
That is so cool, man. And it's kind of
It-
wild, too. It's like the dream that you have and feeling is still there. You're making boat lifts.
yeah, you know what the thing is. I've always wanted to. When I was traveling and whatnot, like I always felt really guilty and like like I felt like I was mooching off of society because I didn't have like a trade or a skill to like contribute back to the people. And a big reason why I'm still here on this island is because the job that I'm working at, they're training me to like work with shop machines, forklifts, and learning how to weld. And I'm actually like planning on probably like, putting my travels on postpone for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, just to learn everything that I need to learn to take out into the world, because and not only that, to save up the money for like a pristine, nice boat to take out, like not one with just where I can man by myself, but like I would like a nice 40-foot boat where I can take like a family out, like a crew, like an actual crew out there with. 'Cause, I don't want to just stick around down here in the Caribbean. Like my plan is going to be to sail up around down or down and around towards the Keys, up around Florida, up towards Boston, up the East Coast, and then sail out to Ireland. Like that's going to be like my first transatlantic destination. It's just talk right now because that's going to be that's way down the line, but that's the goal. I kind of I've been traveling around in the United States for like about 6 years, and I thought I was gonna like just settle down last year when I wanted to get the property out there in Oregon, but that's not the case. I really want to travel farther than I expected. Um,
Ireland.
yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. No,
Dude,
that's go ahead.
I think that you have something that's totally awesome. You're fighting for it and feeling it and, picking up new skills and new trades. And I think that's so cool because you still have the thrill of what you're going to be doing. Like, it's very weird. It's kind of like how you were saying it was weirder how it was, you weren't able to explain the feel you got whenever you hoisted the sail or when the wind kind of took the boat. It's like almost as if you're narrating your own film. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, dude, I'm still like trying to like come up with words just and with how like the wind catches and I'm just gonna stop right now because I'm just gonna like make myself look stupid.
No, you won't, man. It's definitely it's an unexplainable type of thing. I think as far as when you get that fit, that feel, where you get that real big rush, and for me, dude, it used to be whenever I woke up at like 6 in the morning, as weird as it sounds, to drive an hour down 79 and saw the sunrise, and I'm like blasting like ACDC or Van Halen or something, at 6:37 in the morning, dude, and it felt amazing.
Mm.
Felt
Dude,
amazing.
like to utilize the wind and the water at the same time and just yeah, it's freedom to me, like I can go anywhere that I want to, but at the same time, like I have to respect the earth and the sea. It's I don't know, man. Like
Would you ever sail through the Bermuda Triangle, Josh?
maybe one of these days.
That would be pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it would. There's no such thing as bad weather or bad time. It's not. It's bad preparation. Like I wouldn't be afraid to go to the Bermuda Triangle when there's fair sailing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I mean, overall, it's kind of like you're the modern day Voyager, man. You know, it real. I mean, not even. You know, I mean, you're just kind of going at your speed, sailing around. You know, exploring everything, and you hit a rough patch in a rough spot, which we all do in life.
I'm landlocked, man. I'm landlocked for now.
Yeah, and it's very weird. It's like the six stages. You know what I mean? You go through all the different stages of the obstacle, and you knock one, and you knock another, and you knock another. It's kind of like, as weird as it's gonna sound, it's like eating a pizza. You know, you might get one that tastes absolutely awful, one that tastes amazing, one that tastes thrilling and negative, and then you hit that one slice and you're like, this is fucking sweet. I'm gonna keep eating this pizza. Like, you're gonna keep living that dream. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's
You
wild.
know, like it's been a very positive and like a positive experience ever since I've hit the island here. You know, I showed up on the sailboat with these kids, and as soon as I got here, I told my friend, like, look, man, I'm not gonna be rolling with these kids. Like, I'm jumping off this boat, dude. I was able, let's just say that when I got here to the island, I partied for like a straight month.
Was
Like,
it awesome?
dude, it was fun. I had a good time. Pretty much getting drunk like every day of the week. Like, I went on a huge bender for, I was going through a fucking hard time. Like, I just blew a bunch of money for some other person to like live his dream. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, I do feel proud of that because the thing is, like, that person's gonna know that he wouldn't be there. He wouldn't be where he is today if it wasn't for me. And the thing is, he can't do anything by himself. That's
Yeah.
all I got to say.
So he's
I
gonna
mean,
end
I'm
up
sure he
screwing
can't.
himself.
Like, he wouldn't, like, seriously, this person would not be living the life he is living if it wasn't for me. And that makes me feel good. As shitty as that sounds, but the thing is, that's all the reality is to it. He couldn't have
Yeah,
done.
man. And I mean, it's not even something that like should make you even feel bad. That's just kind of like, just goes to show how kick-ass of a person you are, man. I mean, you literally, somebody else is sailing around on the unplugged and addressing you. Maybe it was the first mate, and kind of doing his thing and not acknowledging the team effort that went into this, and that there could be two captains, and then bang, you're still loving
I'm working
stuff.
for it. I'm working for it, dude. Like, it's gonna happen. Because the thing is, like, I know I'll be able to do it, and I know I'm gonna be able to do it better. And that's to be honest, like, I kind of thought about it a couple times, like, maybe like he's just my rival in life. So I'm just gonna use this time where I'm here in Florida to hone my skills, and you know, get the things I need to circumnavigate the world, man. Because that's my next step. I did the back and forth in the U.S., and now it's time to take it to the next level.
Let's see.
Hmm.
That's wild, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, what will be like your Josh, you're big on believing and just kind of letting it take you, right? I mean, like where you're going. I mean, you have your heart, you said, set on Ireland, but
Yeah.
if you might not end up in Ireland, are you going to be upset if you end up per se in another country, somewhere else? I mean,
I mean, no, not really. I mean, if anything, like, I kind of picture myself like sailing down towards Key West.
that would be sweet, dude. I've been there twice. It is so freaking awesome there.
I would imagine. But I would sail down there, meet up with a couple friends. We'd probably sail over to the Bahamas and stuff. I would get my, like, my sea legs
That would be cool.
going over that way and stuff and sailing around in the Caribbean. But when it would come down to it, like if I were to make like an ocean voyage, like Ireland is where I would want to go. That would be like the destination of destinations for me because my heritage is there in Ireland, and I don't want, dude. The last thing that I want to be considered as if I'm going into another country is a fucking tourist.
Yeah.
I'm not a tourist, dude. I'm not a tourist. I to say that before I die, I want to be able to call myself a man of the world.
That
You
is
know,
really
I
powerful.
I don't I just don't want to be that person who just was in one place for his entire life. I want to be able to say that I've been around the world. I've been cultured enough. I don't know, but I've had other people ask me what a man of the world is, and I'm still yet to be able to actually like tell what that is. But I would imagine a person who has traveled around, all around, more than the next person.
Yeah. And I mean, Bermuda would be sweet, man. It's beautiful there, and that would be so cool.
I will go through the Bermuda Triangle. I'll be online and talking to you while I'm in the middle of it. And we'll wait for us to disappear.
Dude, that would be absolutely wild. So, when you were sailing, you got any? I mean, dude, I remember I saw your video. You were flying, and you almost fell off. I think the unplugged a couple times. Was that the
No,
unplugged at the time?
that was not the unplugged. That was my good friend's boat. That was here on Pine Island. That was after I got off.
You're
That
almost
was
flying off that boat, dude.
Oh, dude, it was great. That was my friend Jason. Um, I've known him and his family for years, and he was the reason why I came down to the area where I'm at right now. I wouldn't have the place where I have or that I have right now if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't have a job. I don't know, I wouldn't have gone through this much growth if it wasn't for him. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, that was just a speedboat and just me having a good time.
that was totally kick ass. You're a wild man, Josh. Untamed
And it was
Ruane. Untamed
hey,
Ruane.
sick.
So, aside from that, going to where you're going now in everything in preparation, do you feel that it's something where you kind of have come to like an understanding of this is not the end of the road for
No,
me?
it's not the end of the road. No, you know what the cool thing is? The coworker of the place where I'm at now, he really believes in me and the things that I want to do. You know, and he told me tonight. He's like, man, all I would ask for you is to hang out here for a year and a half, year and a half, 2 years. He's like, not just for me, but because I want you to have like a good fucking boat. I want you to learn the skills that we have to offer here, and, and he was just also saying like, man, within 2 years I might be able to go with you.
That would be kick ass, man. That's the kind of way that it sounds like it's going.
Mm-hmm. So like, dude, now right now I'm making $13 an hour.
Sure.
I would imagine here within like even within the first year, I'll probably be bumped up like, who knows, like 15, 16, 17 an hour, depending on how well I work and bust my ass. Like, just imagine that coming in every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have a very, like, and okay, so I'm only paying 700 a month, here for my apartment. So I'd be able to put in a good bit of money if I start getting bumped up later on. And if I'd be very frugal about my spending and everything, and if I also have another person who's going to help out purchase this other boat, then I'm looking to get like a nice 40-foot boat. Dude, that would be able to house like at least 4 or 5 people comfortably.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
like I want a fucking house sailing on the water.
That would be so cool.
Dude, yeah.
And you're just hanging out, sailing around, doing your thing, and living life, and
That's the
breathing and
cool,
feeling the air.
dude. Straight up, man. Like if you learned how to fish while you're out there on the ocean, that'd be great. You'd be able to feed yourself. Not only that, like solar panels, wind turbines. You'd be able to have your own power. Like there's, like it's very cool. It's a very, very wonderful way to be able to be self-sufficient and to learn to be self-sufficient is on a sailboat. And I don't
That's
know,
wild.
like when I think about sailing around here, that's just the absolute freedom that I crave and that I want.
Just enjoying.
Hmm.
So I wanted to ask you before we go, what is the next move, Josh?
The next move
Yeah, man.
from here to now.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I really don't see myself moving anytime soon, to be honest.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I might be here for the next year and a half. I'd like to say a year,
I mean,
because good.
at least it's beautiful down there.
It is. It's a very, very awesome spot. I've run into a lot of great people so far. I'm still in the process of, becoming a part of the community. It's uh, it's been a very interesting experience. Like I've never like traveled around and I've wanted to become a part of a community so much as this one. Not even back, not even at my hometown. Like I never really felt the drive to like dive in and be a part of something and until I've moved here, because the island is only like I do believe it's like 18 miles long. Um, it's the largest island here in Florida, but at the same time, it feels like very small. It's like the country of Florida. I don't know.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'd like to talk more about it the next time, man.
Absolutely. I mean, before we jump too, I mean, play any or learn any new radical songs on the guitar?
You know what the cool thing is, this last time, not this last time, but anyway, my dad sent me down, this okay, so like back in 2014 is when I started first playing guitar, and I ended up going out and buying a really nice Taylor GS Mini Mahogany. Now, mahogany is a very, very nice wood to make a guitar with because it has it resonates much better than than cheaper guitars, so to say. But anyway, that has inspired me to play more. But how about let's just say next time when we get on, I would love to play a song.
Oh yeah, that would be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That would be absolutely sweet. Josh, you are the man always, dude. Whatever you say, you are still the man.
Sir.
It's absolutely kick ass. Josh RUANE on Untamed RUANE, episode 1. The man is not done. That rhymed. That's pretty cool.
Sir.
You the man, Josh. Thank you.
You have a great night, Matt.
You too,
And
brother.
everyone else.
Take care, man.
Mhm.